This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
My name is Tao Familoni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching BOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
This is where we're going to tell you all things trending and all things topical. And I can bet you so much news is breaking today. We also have a number of follow-ups from yesterday's hashtags for you. So, hey, it promises to be an exciting edition. If this is your first time here, accept a very warm welcome from us. So I say us because I'm not flying this plane solo. I got my co-anchor here. Hello,
Hi.
sir.
How you doing?
Good.
Good evening, guys.
Jeez, that sounded so mechanical. All right, go on. Yeah.
Good evening, guys. I'm Ike Chicago, and it is where you definitely get all stories actually making rounds in the world. And of course, like Vivian said, if it's your first time to be part of us, trust me, you're definitely in for a ride. And we've got a lot of hashtags that's definitely we'll be looking at. Of course, there's a lot that some of the hashtags that we looked at yesterday, we'll definitely continue some of them as well today. Vivian, let's go on a ride.
All right, so we begin with hashtag confirmed janitor. I was going to say janitor. No, it's actually General Christopher Musa, retired, has been confirmed as the Minister of Defense. But hey, it was a very dramatic one today during the screening in the Red Chamber. So, a senator had moved that the general should just bow and go. You know this tradition they have sometimes in the Senate that someone who's well known, you know, based on their antecedents, will just come bow and go and all. But when a senator proposed that, Senate President Akpabio said, no, not now when America is on your neck, not now when Nigerians are expecting so much. You know, so there was a little drama there. We'll be sure to capture that event right here. Also, we are going to be walking you through the timeline, you know, what the senator said, what the new defense minister said, and how Nigerians are reacting to it. Of course, I have a post by Bayo Nanuga. We will get to that. But first, I would like for you to take a look at the video where a senator was recommending that he bows and go.
We have had closed sessions with him severally, and some of the questions that will be asked here and the responses may not be well dispensed at this moment. So I feel we should just allow this gentleman to take a bow and go. Not carry. There's not. This is it. There is nothing no here. There is nothing no. And you stand up and say you should take a bow and go, with so many questions on the mouth of Nigerians, with over 200 Nigerian children in the bush, kidnapped and being tortured. His appointment is heralded all over Nigeria with happiness, because Nigerians believe he has something to offer. Give the man an opportunity to give Nigerians hope.
Okay, so you saw a sneak peek of Senator Akpabio saying no, there is no bow and go. But before that, you saw the senator recommending for General Musa, retired, to bow and go. There's an elongated version of the Senate president, you know, saying what he said. Why don't you take a listen to that?
I did not say rejected, but noted. The reason I say so is that the man standing in front of us could be regarded as a solution to the current insecurity in the country. And we are not here on our own. We are here representing our constituents. And our constituents would like to hear from him whether his appointment will enable them to sleep well, whether their children will be safe in schools. So we are not asking him questions because we don't like him. We are asking him questions because our constituents would have loved to ask him questions at a time like this. So if we come here and we do politics of bow and go, this is not a period we should say bow and go. Even Donald Trump is on our neck. We have not yet asked him what his response will be to Donald Trump, the President of America. He is not just anybody. Chief of Defense Staff, a nominee for Minister of Defense of a country, and you stand up and say you should take a bow and go, with so many questions on the mouth of Nigerians, with over 200 Nigerian children in the bush, kidnapped and being tortured.
All right, so it looks like Senate President Godswill Akpabio is so particular about what Donald Trump is thinking about Nigeria at the moment. In fact, not too long ago, himself and his deputy had, a little back and forth. His deputy told him right there during plenary in the Green Chamber that it looked like the Senate President was afraid of Donald Trump. But the Senate President said no, that he's just doing things, the way it should be done and all. There's another video I'd like for you to take a look at before we listen to the new defense or the newly confirmed defense minister. There is a senator who said if the defense minister doesn't perform in 6 months, that he'll be recommended to be dismissed. Oh, let me retake that. That is on probation for 6 months. That's it. Take a look.
But it's to say to you, based on where you're coming from, the commendations and accolades that you've gotten from my colleagues, is to say to you that I will be requesting the Senate to give you like what had not been done before. You will be approved, but in principle it will be probational. If within the first 6 months these sensitive questions are not brought to bear in the affirmative, where is Brigadier General who authorized the withdrawal of soldiers 30 minutes before the operation that saw to the kidnapping of the MAGA, 25 children in MAGA, and etc., are not answered, or no progress is seen by
Okay, so the new defense minister is on probation for 6 months, and he was asked questions that needed to be answered. He said he was going to investigate who asked for the withdrawal of troops before the abduction in Kebbi. He also said he was going to investigate why General Musa died the way, Uba Musa, his namesake, by the way, the Musa part, why he died the way he died. He said he's going to do all that. He also talked about nipping banditry in the board. He talked about the porosity of Nigeria's borders and how this menace must be tackled. Why don't you hear it from the horse's mouth himself? He spoke twice. There are 2 videos I'd like for you. He's vowing to do his job, and he's calming nerves, right? So listen to the new defense minister, General Christopher Musa, retired.
Administration, Jibril CFR, the principal officers of the Senate, distinguished senators, the special advisor to the President on Senate matters, Senator Bashir Lado, CON. I feel highly privileged and honored to be here standing before you in this hallowed chamber. I feel blessed and privileged Last time I was here, sir, was as a military man. Today, I'm standing here as a retired general. To God be the glory, sir. I am General Christopher Akpabio Musa, retired, the 18th Chief of Defense Staff, Armed Forces of Nigeria. Standing here as a great honor to present myself as nominated by Mr. President as the Minister of Defense of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I was born, sir, 25th December 1967 in Sokoto. I spent my formative years in Sokoto before I went to the Nigerian Defense Academy as a member of the 38 Regular Course. I was commissioned in 1991 into the Infantry Corps.
So that was him basically introducing himself. And, you know, if you let him, it could take the whole day because his profile, it is huge, I can tell you, with lots of antecedents. But let me take you back to that video I was telling you about where he was saying, in order to nip this menace of banditry in the bud, you have to tackle the issue of Nigeria's porous borders. Take a listen.
To this administration, and now even sending you back to the hallowed chamber of the Senate.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't bring that video to you due to technicalities. Apologies. I'll try to pull it up, you know, some other time. That is, if it's still relevant. But hey, I think this particular hashtag will continue to be relevant, you know, throughout this week because that's really what's on the front burner right now. So Bayo Onanuga, presidential spokesperson, went on to X. X seems to be his constituency, and he's always giving, you know, netizens updates. So he brought this update at about 6 p.m. tonight. Yeah, to let Nigerians know how this particular event, talking about the screening of General Christopher Musa retired, went and how he's been confirmed. So that's it. Bayo Onanuga says, Senate confirms General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense, and the Senate has confirmed the former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, as the Minister of Defense. The Senate confirmed Musa on Wednesday via a voice vote after a rigorous screening session in which lawmakers asked him many questions. Musa, who retired barely 40 days ago, was nominated by President Bola Tinubu as the defense minister on Tuesday. His nomination was transmitted to the Senate the same day for confirmation. So how are netizens reacting? Let's take a look. So ATB says General Musa's field experience could bring real operational insight to the ministry if backed with adequate support, political will, and a clear strategy. May his tenure prioritize both security and welfare of Nigerians. I say amen to that. CBN Gov Akin says this is the end of insurgency in Nigeria. The Yoruba Demon Boy says, we've seen it coming. Easy to predict. I pray he serves the interests of the people, and I hope the insecurity wahala reduces during his time in service and after service. Best of luck. Niger Man says, congratulations to our Honorable Minister of Defense. I wish him success over all the enemies of the Nigerian state. So Ikechukwu, that's how this whole thing played out today in the Senate. And finally, General Musa retired has been confirmed.
Well, as expected, if the president nominates you, most likely you're going to get confirmed. But I seem to have this feeling that, you know, he's going to really need to step on a lot of toes to actually get the job done. I just hope that the person who is appointing him being the president is going to give him his full backing, because he needs, you know, the whole political will he can actually get to get this job done. it's a very big task. A lot of persons might not understand the depth of it, but it's quite big. The question the senator actually asked him was a very germane question, saying, hey, you need to answer the question of who actually authorized the withdrawal of troops in Kebbi. That question is going to be very big. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if 6 months is not too much for him to answer that, but I expect him to actually, answer that particular question. And maybe that's going to begin to give us insight on those who are actually in all of this. Again, the Senate President also, for the very first time, I looked at him at the floor and I kind of, get this certain level of assurance. Okay, we have people in the House of Assembly. I mean, cases like that, first of all, I don't recommend people, just coming to the Senate floor and just bow and go. You have to come tell us exactly, what you can do. I think it naturally should be an interrogative session where you come, answer certain questions, because you are representing Nigerians. Nigerians will not just give you their job, that job without you actually going through a certain level of interview. Yeah,
he said that much. He said all of that. But regarding the withdrawal of the troops before the abduction in Kebbi, the army over the weekend, DHQ, Defense Headquarters, invited the troops who were withdrawn before the abduction for them to give feedback as to who gave them that instruction. So keep our fingers crossed to see how that one pans out. And we wish General Musa, retired, all the best of luck, during his tenure. We'll move on to the next hashtag now, which is hashtag Governor Oti. So the governor of Abia State, Governor Oti, over the weekend visited Nnamdi Kanu, who is from his state, really. He calls him his governor. He went to Sokoto, where Nnamdi is serving his sentence live, really, to visit him and, to rub minds with him. It was a closed-door meeting. So the governor came back and then went to Aso Rock yesterday to visit President Tinubu over this matter. And shortly after that, Nnamdi Kanu's wife replied. Yeah? So I take you now to X so you see how this hashtag is panning out and how netizens are responding. It is hashtag Governor Oti. Yeah, so the Guardian Nigeria is stepping on it. It says President Bola Tinubu yesterday received Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, in a meeting believed to focus on ongoing efforts to secure the release of the detained leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. So the next one is Mrs. Kanu's post. Let's take a look at it. So, Uchechi Okwu Kanu says, while Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is free to appeal his conviction, I'm happy to inform you that I have activated and will continue to work on the already agreed strategy until his freedom is secured, Governor Oti said. And then she goes on to say that Tuesday's meeting with President Tinubu is widely interpreted as part of Oti's ongoing political and legal strategy aimed at advancing dialogue and exploring possible solutions at the federal level. In a short while, I'll come to the responses to this particular post by Mrs. Kanu. But she seems to be content with what the governor is doing, right?
Alex Oti is a governor who is very much loved, in the Southeast. Particularly, in fact, not even Abia, the Southeast, like I said. So for him to actually take this particular step and the wife's response, the big question is going to be about, certain level of compromise. Will Nnamdi Kanu be willing to actually get to that level? But away from that, really, I think the woman is happy that something is actually happening. Recall that the last time we talked about this, we were talking about Barrister Ejiofor and Ejimako, and Barrister Ejiofor saying that before any appeal is made, certain level of political bigwigs has to come in, look at possibility of what's going to happen before they start the appeal case. So I think this is one of these, and Alex Oti taking the bull by its own. It was part of the APC before, so he understands the president very well. I think they can really have a conversation, and if they can get a headway, I mean, it's going to be good for the family, also for the Southeast as well. So I think it's a very good one. All right, so let's go back to X now so you see how netizens are responding to this particular one. The first one, shall we? Uma, take it away. Okay, Mama said, please be safe. Do not trust anyone. Your life is very important. If possible, let the international bodies get informed of your movement. You're fighting a serious battle. You cannot afford to fail. Next post. And this one, Biafra Sacrosanct Spirit says, I've said it before, still repeating it again. MNK won't appeal anything because he's not a criminal. Again, if MNK appeals his conviction, it means that what Nigerian government are charging him with is correct. Another post. Ultimate Viewer says, activating the agreed strategy. Is this the only path forward? We need to see concrete steps, not just dialogue. Freedom for Nnamdi Kanu must be secured, and we commend the Governor Oti, for pressing this at the highest level. Keep the pressure on.
So that's it.
And of course, Goodwin Moses says, Mommy, please don't trust any of these people. Me too, I don't trust them. Talking about Nnamdi Kanu.
What's the thing about people saying she shouldn't trust these people? These people being who now?
The politicians, basically. You know.
So there is some kind of bad blood.
Yes, I mean, people, particularly Southeasterners, rarely trust politicians. They believe that they can live their life outside, government. So for these people who are actually very much IPOB sympathizers, actually telling the wife of Nnamdi Kanu, whatever conversation you think you're hearing from the media, whatever conversation Alex Oti and the president had, do not trust that anything is going to come out of it. Don't believe, don't put a hope in it, because, I mean, they don't really trust politicians. So that's basically what they're actually saying.
Okay, there is another follow-up that is kind of related to this particular one. It is hashtag sit at home. So from an unlikely quarter, someone is saying something. I don't want to detract from it by paraphrasing here. So let me just take you to X. It is hashtag sit at home. The first post, take a look at the first post. You'll be shocked. It's been a while since I saw him or heard anything from him. This is Sadhguru Maharaj. And the Daily Post Nigeria says, I'll help free Nnamdi Kanu if sit at home ends. If you think this is a fluke, the Punch also has this one. Let's take a look. So, Punch newspaper says, I'll help free Nnamdi Kanu, or I'll help free Kanu if Biafra Radio sit at home and that is, if there's an end to Biafra Radio and sit at home. That's Sadhguru Maharaj. Do you want to talk about this a little bit before we go to this sit at home issue?
Let's go into it first.
All right. So, in October this year, Seun Okinbaloye had an interview with Charles Soludo. And Charles, I'm talking about the governor of Anambra State now, who is one of the chief players in the Southeast. He just won a re-election for his second term and all. So he said, this sit at home has not benefited anybody. I also do not want to detract from this or distract. So let me take you to X so you take a look at this particular post I'm talking about. Take note, it was taken from October, yeah? October 20 this year. Seun Okinbaloye, Seun Okin, Channel TV says, the Monday sit at home thing is very unfortunate. Anyone agitating for anything or killing your own people under the pretext of Monday sit at home are holding themselves down. I think Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB have come out to disown the Monday sit at home, and I take them by their word. All I know is that Igbos need Nigeria and Nigeria needs Igbos. We are everyone's village, or we are in everyone's village, and an itinerant people cannot be an intolerant people. Professor Charles, Executive Governor of Anambra State. Let's break this down, right? Let's just leave it on the screen there. Let it sink in a little bit. So he's saying that Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB, is that him taking himself out of the whole agitation? And then he goes on to say that Igbos need Nigeria and Nigeria needs the Igbos. Saying, look, there's no need for any self-determination. And then he goes on to say, we are in everyone's village. And then this is very, I don't know, it's curious. Itinerant people cannot be an intolerant people.
Yeah, people found basically in every list or item, cannot definitely have bad blood around people who...
So what is he saying in essence?
Basically he's saying that you cannot, I
know, is he saying that it's a section of the Southeasterners are intolerant?
No. Basically what he's saying is that, the outlook of it, you cannot be residing in another person's part of the world, doing your business, and then, in your own part of the world, people from that part is actually closing shop.
The spin you're giving it is what I don't understand.
Okay.
But that's what Charles Soludo said. But there is another update, another one, you know, that was taken from 2024, another Southeasterner who also talked about the sit at home. Shall we go back to X now so you take a look at it? Let's do it. Sit at home. So this is Somto Okonkwo. Somto is very popular here because he's following stuff like this all the time. This was taken from November 8, 2024. You know this man, he is very popular, Kanayo O Kanayo.
Yeah.
He's a Southeasterner. He said, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Monday sit at home in the Southeast. He was asked the question, Kanayo O Kanayo, what's your take on this? I promised to bring this video to you guys tomorrow, but this is what he said. He said it has not done good for anybody at all. I'll pull that video up in a short while. Definitely not today, tomorrow. So your take on the sit at home and what the clergyman, can we call Sadhguru a clergy?
Yeah, I mean, it falls within that particular bracket. He leads a congregation.
So he said he's going to get Nnamdi Kanu freed if the sit at home ends and if Radio Biafra ends.
So this sit at home thing is, how will I put it? It's not what people, okay, it's not exactly how people see it. Let me start from there. Because I think Nnamdi Kanu only issued a sit at home order once. And IPOB also issued a sit-at-home order when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested. And barely a week after, I think about second day.
What is the sit-at-home? No economic activity takes place.
So right? The thing is, after IPOB, relapsed that particular sit-at-home order, the people decide to sit at home. In fact, interviews were conducted on the streets. Market people saying, yes, there are people who also have their fears.
Yeah, because interviews also were conducted.
Yes.
And traders said those of them that tried to open were harassed.
So
did that happen?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That a good number of them said, this is us doing this because, this guy has no reason to actually be.
So it's a divided thing.
So
some for and some for against.
So, but this time, right? Yeah. This time, right? We don't have. Someone whose boys are actually the ones going about, doing all these very funny things. Are actually very much outside. It's locked up somewhere now, right?
Yes.
So now,
in Switzerland.
if you in Finland.
Sorry.
Finland, yeah.
I beg your pardon.
So if you have him, already in the net, and then people still decide not to go out, it begs the question. Because trust me, right, you don't get to see anybody on the street on Monday now in the East saying that, they're actually going about enforcing anything.
Yeah.
You don't get to see it. But people still, regardless, just decide to stay. Mm-hmm. So I think at this point, right, yes, we know it's hurting the economy, and a lot of us also want to see it end, but civil disobedience has always been one of the actions that people who seek self-determination has always across the world.
Yeah, but what do you think of what Sadhguru is saying, though? Is this something he can pull off?
Well, I don't know his influence at the top, right? Maybe he's speaking about, spiritual, because that's where his forte is. But if he's speaking about, talking to the government or people in authority, I don't know how strong he is. Okay. But telling IPOB to stop Radio Biafra or telling Nnamdi Kanu to stop sit-at-home, Nnamdi Kanu even in court has also said it, that people should not be attacked, people should not be harassed from their lawful duty if they want to go to their business, that people causing destructions and killing people in the name of Biafra are actually not IPOB member, even in court, right? One of those videos where people ask him, even a lawyer Jumako asked him, he said, do people doing those stuffs are criminals? So now, if the people also decide not to actually come out in that case, it's I don't think it's on him, but I don't think he can actually pull this off.
Okay, it's safe for us to let it land. Yeah, but this is unfolding. And as it continues to unfold, we'll keep you posted. We move on now to something totally different from all of this. It's something we've been following since the news broke. I'm talking about Two-Face and the Wahala in his family. This whole gist has taken a totally different turn. Yesterday we saw Daddy Freeze. A number of women came on Daddy Freeze live to beg Daddy Freeze to do something to save Two-Face. Singer Attorney today has said she's going to mobilize her constituency to go save the legend. Hyacinth, Two-Face's brother, is saying, bro, let us help you. But Two-Face himself came out today to say, you guys, stop it. This is taking a dangerous tangent. He's saying that his wife's life is in danger now because of what the fans are saying And he was like, everybody calm down. I am good. I am okay. So let me take you to X now. So you take a look at the post that Chooks put up, and then I'll put up Two-Face himself. Shall we? Yeah. Chooks says, this issue is getting out of hand, and you people are putting Natasha at risk. That should be at risk, right? Mm-hmm. And then it goes on to say, I'm perfectly okay. Someone else posted that on my IG. What did they post? We're going to come to that. And then it goes on to say, I'm not the one who posted it. Families do have issues, but we will definitely resolve everything. To Baba Idibia reacted. Take a listen.
This is getting out of hand. And this is a dangerous situation right now. I know what fans can do. I know what people can do. I am perfectly okay. You understand what I'm saying? And this is putting Natasha at risk. It's not fair on anybody to do this kind of thing. It's not fair on anybody at all. So please, I need everybody to calm down. I need everybody to cease fire. They want to resolve all these issues. People, they get issue for house. Maybe today. But this is getting out of hand. Please, friends, family, everybody, cease fire. Please, I beg you. I beg you. I am perfectly fine. I did not post that. Please. Please. I'm okay. Please.
And that Two-Face looking very serious. Very, very serious. So netizens reacted, responded. Let's take a look. Glams says, I said it. Baba is enjoying premium peace of mind, but people are out there spreading misinformation. Your home is blessed, Jari, and please continue to enjoy your wife. Trade with a big Chris said, what did they post abeg? So they posted it on, it was Two-Face's handle, right? And it was like, help, like it was like an SOS call. Well, Daily Post has that one. Let's go to Daily Post so you take a look at it. So credit goes to Daily Post for this reporting. It says Nigerian music icon Innocent Idibia, popularly known as Two-Face, has spoken publicly for the first time since the controversy involving him and his wife and Edo State lawmaker Natasha Osaworo began trending online. In a short message shared on his Instagram story on Wednesday, the singer wrote, help me. This is coming a few hours after his brother Hyacinth Idibia raised concerns in an Instagram post in which he paired his message with lyrics from one of Two-Face's songs. So Hyacinth, few hours before this particular post that was shared on Two-Face's Instagram story, today Gongon had said that, you know, his brother was in danger, or his brother was an endangered species and needed help. So that is what Two-Face is saying, that it wasn't him that did it. So was his Instagram account hacked? And this is not the first time we are hearing stories like this. There was another time when he said stuff and he said it wasn't him. But then there was another time he said stuff and he said, nah, me talk him. This time around, he's saying he didn't post anything. Yeah, but hey, what do you make of all of this?
Okay, so you know that at this level, many of these musicians have people
managers
managing
who manage
their
social
so it
media
means I can have it and you can also have access to it, and then you can, you know,
do
want
whatever.
to be funny
Yeah.
at some point. So it's very possible he didn't actually make that post.
Yeah.
But I'm like he said, you know, families, they get issues. And if indeed, because I like the position, the point where he actually agreed that maybe there's an issue really,
Yeah,
but let's settle it. We're going to settle it. I mean, for me, this is a man. He's not willing to throw his wife under the bus, whatever the situation. I want to believe that at this point, Two-Face seems to be a man who can actually handle this particular situation. That's why he's actually calling for ceasefire. He understands he's very much loved, and when you are in this particular position, people can actually go any length for you. And especially when women start calling in to say, please help Two-Face, women fighting for you is another level of, you know, battle. So I think at this point, people who are actually very emotional about the Two-Face thing should just allow it play out a bit. Since Two-Face has come out to say it's fine, that it's just a normal family issue, I think they can sort it out. It's something he can handle.
So,
I just hope he's find space.
Do you think the whole thing was blown out of proportion?
It might not be.
See, let's start from the beginning. Shortly after Two-Face had separated from Annie, his mother came out to say Natasha had done some voodoo.
Yeah.
And that her son was not in his right senses. She actually put up a video and was asking Nigerian mothers to come help her. But shortly after that, Two-Face got married to Natasha. We saw them, they're always clubbing and going to places together and all of that. Fast forward to 2 days ago when Daddy Freeze did that live thingy. I mean, yesterday he came out to clarify that he did it because he's Two-Face's friend and that this is not the first time they've been trying to resolve issues. Himself, his wife, Daddy Freeze's wife, Daddy Freeze himself, and Two-Face's former manager. So, Daddy Freeze was the one that just opened this Pandora's box, really, and had everybody jumping on it. Prior to Daddy Freeze's live, there was an altercation at an airport in London where we had Two-Face allegedly and his wife shouting at each other. Natasha was heard saying, "Why is he always raising his voice at her?" That's what she said. And so she decided to also raise her voice. Allegedly, Two-Face was arrested, and nobody has come out to actually clarify that stance. But hey, that's the gist flying around. And then fast forward again to Daddy Freeze's life. Two-Face was supposed to jump on it, and then we hear him using some swear words that it's not supposed to be uttered on TV. And he was talking to his wife, and she was heard saying that they're supposed to show the two of them together. And at the end of the day, Two-Face actually did not jump on that particular interview with Daddy Freeze and his former manager. And then we heard his former manager come out to say that Natasha had said that Two-Face was taking his music career too seriously, that he was supposed to have done a collabo with Odumodu Black. And I think Jesse Jacks was supposed to be in the mix somewhere, but it didn't happen because of Natasha. All of that. Now, if you go online now, a number of people are saying that Daddy Freeze threw Two-Face under the bus, that he shouldn't have allowed that thing, the altercation between Two-Face and his wife, he shouldn't have allowed it to spread. Do you agree? That he aired Two-Face's weakness to the world, and that's why we are where we are.
I think I agree with them to a very large extent because, bro code, it depends on how close you guys are, except that Freeze is just acting as a journalist that he is. But if you are very close friends of a person, there are certain things you just want to protect. You want to keep away from the eyes of the public and say, hey man, what's going on? When the thing finally comes out and becomes a very big issue, you can now step in and say, okay, yes, I was actually privy to this. I tried to talk things through with my man, but our marriage is some sort of complexity of its own. I just don't want to go into that. You can give your reasons why, but it's already done already. And the Two-Face incident as well, I think that if you look at Two-Face the way he is at this point, I think he's a man who is actually battling with a lot, on how to actually deal with this particular situation. But for him to have come out, first, like I said, for him to have come out to actually acknowledge that this is a problem and they're definitely going to sort it out, I think people should just give them, that chance to actually resort it, that they are adults.
He actually struck a very mature and calm note in that video. This is the most mature I've seen Two-Face, in a very, very long while. Update, the Edo State House of Assembly has summoned Natasha, who happens to be its member, one of its members, to say, come explain to us what's going on. They are saying that Natasha is dragging the Edo State House of Assembly's name through the mud and they're not having any of it. So she's going to appear before the Ethics Committee. And
that's what happens when you're actually involved with a man like Two-Face.
Yeah.
Many of these, men in the Edo State House of Assembly, even National Assembly today, are men who actually listened to Two-Face when they were very much younger. So it's a man they will definitely be endeared to.
It's not about them being endeared to Two-Face now.
I understand.
It's about their reputation.
Yes.
The image of, because whenever this matter comes up, they say, now lawmaker should be for Edo State.
True. So true. That's part of it. But I'm also looking at the fact that there will be sentiments on their own part too. Because this person, just imagine a couple of years later, Whiskey gets into this sort of problem. People who are actually his fan are seated in the House of Assembly. They definitely want to be emotional about this.
Well, if that's what you're saying, someone from Benin actually had put up a video. I wish I brought it up. I'll probably do that tomorrow. And he was saying, he put up a video of Natasha protesting at INEC office in Edo State after an election result had been announced. And he said this woman wasn't a push aside before Two-Face married her.
Yeah.
So nobody should come say whatever. So this thing is a debate that's raging.
True.
And we'll continue to put our pulse on it until, it comes to the very end. But we still have another hashtag, which is along the same lines, hashtag Annie. Annie to Baba's ex-wife, right? I was going to say his erstwhile babe. Former, is she still the African queen? Or are we going to say she's former African queen now?
Natasha is the African queen now.
Okay, in fact, Baba had come out not too long ago to call her a goddess and all. So I think, this whole thing is going to be sorted. So hashtag Annie is where we're at right now. Annie put up a post just yesterday, that's it, of herself and her 2 daughters. Those 2 lovely girls are children Annie bore to Baba. So Onyidamola says, Annie just posted pictures of her and her daughters, Olivia and Isabel, on vacation in Durban. All right, let's see how netizens are responding. So Shola says, Two-Face left a toxic marriage, got into another toxic marriage. A lot of you are celebrating, saying God of Annie, and some other dumb comments. He wasn't finding peace with Annie anymore. He left. The fact that Natasha is also draining him doesn't make his last marriage a good one to stay in. I hope he gets the help he needs and finds the peace he's been looking for. So someone responded to Shola. This shows obviously he is the problem in general.
People can be unlucky with love. I disagree. People can
of course you disagree. Sometimes your stance is sometimes suspect.
No, people can be
How many baby mamas does Two Baba have? How many?
Maybe 4 or 5.
You can say it loud with conviction.
What does that get to do with this?
That's one man. How many children does he have?
I think it's about the same number I mentioned. I think about 5 or so.
Safety your final thoughts on that? I'm not going to say more on that.
But
so we are wrapping up. You don't know?
But how does that?
Okay, the next hashtag, guys, is hashtag G20. We were supposed to have done this yesterday, but we had so much. I remember when we played a video of the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. He was coming hard on the president of the United States, Donald Trump, that please ignore what you just saw on the screen. Cyril Ramaphosa has said that what Donald Trump did wasn't even good at all. And to even make it worse, Donald Trump is saying that South Africa is not going to participate in the next G20 summit, which is going to be hosted by the US. Anything South Africa has been erased when you go to the website now. Ikechukwu, you were going to say something, you were unable to. This is it.
So I don't think this is a fight South Africa can actually win. But then I understand the geopolitical part of it. Because you recall that I think sometime in March, South Africa actually visited the White House. Ramaphosa actually visited the White House, and Donald Trump actually had to make him watch and practically humiliated him in front of a lot of persons, the likes of Elon Musk and co were actually in that particular meeting. And after then, I know that Ramaphosa has been looking for a way to actually get back at the American president. But here's the thing, right? As it stands now, South Africa is part of the new economic bloc. You want to say the new power bloc outside the UN that we have, where America seems to be like the one holding sway. Outside the NATO that we have, where America seems to be definitely the one holding sway there. We have now the BRICS, where Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And of course, you recall that a couple of, I think it was last year or a year before, they were actually looking at, creating an alternative to the dollar. Now, if, they have to actually win that battle, it has to come with, some sort of fight, because you cannot displace America without a fight. It is normal. No empire goes down without a fight. And it has to start with something like this. If a member of the BRICS get touched, then maybe the BRICS will be forced to actually rise. But the big question here is this. If you look at the complexity of the BRICS nation, I'm talking about Russia, China, India, Brazil, and co. Would they be willing to stand up for a fight for Cyril Ramaphosa and South Africa being one of the member states in that particular? Because now it's going to be a fight for the BRICS. It's just like Russia attacking one of the countries within the NATO states, NATO will definitely rise. Will these people rise if America start, imposing economic sanction, some sort of things that's going to be making the life of South Africans and their economy more difficult, unbearable for them? These are the questions, I really cannot wrap my head around, because South Africa is an African country, whether I like it or not. Whether Russia and South Africa, India and China will see it as a worthy risk. If they see it as a worthy risk to actually go, united front against America, then it's going to be a case of, what, this is the time to actually displace the dollar. Because if you look at the economy of the world now, China is in terms of economy, very close to America. So all of this is what I'm looking at this point. But I don't think two wrongs can make it right. Donald Trump might be wrong for not going to the G summit, but I think Senator Ramaphosa should just, let's accept there's an underplay by the BRICS nation to say we are looking for an opportunity to latch on and take a fight. Donald Trump might. You said you are not even sure it's wrong. It's totally wrong. I mean, for you to... No, I said two wrongs cannot make it right. Yeah, you said he might be wrong, right? Is that what I said? Yes, that's what you said. Okay. He was wrong, because if you're going to host the next G20, you are supposed to be at the venue where it is being handed over to you. Trump did not do that. You know why I use the word? And then the thing is, he's now totally erasing South Africa from the next G20 because of the actions Ramaphosa took after. Yes. That's what I'm saying. So the thing is, there's no justification for it. I'm not justifying. I'm just saying, before you fight someone, you look at your chance. That's what I'm saying. Except there's an underlay by the BRICS community saying, yes, this is going to be how we're going to start the battle for BRICS to actually, go head up against America. But if the BRICS isolates, South Africa in this fight, trust me, there's only one winner. All right. I just hope that this whole thing is sorted eventually. But this is how we wrap it up today. Thanks to everyone who contributed to making the show a success. Bigger thanks goes to you guys for watching. Keep a date again with us for another edition of Hashtags. Until then, I am Vivian Oguche, and bye for now.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People Television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on